doing, sis? Let me ask you a quick question. Quick question. First off, do you know your nationality according to the Bible?
Bring it up.
Do you know your nationality according to the Bible? What is it? Look at this sign right here. You might have to come a little closer. This one's a little small. But look at this sign. So right here on your left side are the names that God gave us, right? Yeah. And then on the right side are the names that we were given through our captivity, through slavery.
That's
okay?
Right.
So you got Judah. God called us Judah, but the white man calls us American black. God calls us Benjamin. White man calls us West Indian. So on and so forth, okay? So on this sign, where do you see the nationality of your father? What would you say? Is your father American black, West Indian? Is he Jamaican or something? Haitian? Is he from where? American Indian? Where's your father from? Do you know? He's American black? Okay. So according to this sign, according to the Bible, you're from the tribe of Judah.
Yes, right.
All right, and that's actually the same tribe that Christ came from. Okay? So now I want to ask you, with you being from the tribe of Judah, right? And Christ being from the tribe of Judah, you're clearly a black woman, right? And I just said Christ is from the tribe of Judah, but what do you believe Christ looks like?
Bring it up.
Look at these signs. You could point to any image. Growing up, I believe that Christ looked like this. What did you believe growing up? This one right here? This one right here? Okay. Alright, so we were both taught different things. We were both taught, well, really it was the same thing, because we were both taught lies. Because nowhere in the Bible can you find this image. Did you ever ask your pastor where you could find this image in the Bible?
Bring it up.
You should. Do you go to church? You need to ask your pastor that. You need to ask him, where is this image in the Bible? I bet you, do they have a stained glass window in the back of the church? Yeah. And it has an image of this man? Oh, okay, it's a picture of that one, right? So they have a stained glass image in the back of the church that has a picture of this man, right? But you need to ask your pastor next time you go, where is this in the Bible? Because we're supposed to believe God, right? We're supposed to, give me Acts 5:31. We're supposed to believe God, not supposed to believe just what man says. We got to prove everything from the Bible, correct? So you need to be asking your pastor, where is this image? Why am I praying to this man? Read that.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 5 and verse 31. Him hath God exalted with his right. Verse 29. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey God rather than men.
You would agree, right? We have to obey God, not men. Right, because men could lie and God is always going to be true, correct? Okay, good. At least we're on the same page. What's your name, sis?
Jackie.
Jackie, okay, nice to meet you, Jackie. My name is Zephaniah. So right now, Jackie, we're going to go into the image of Christ, what Christ actually looks like according to the Bible. Because once again, we have to obey God, not men. You can't just go for what I said, right? Okay, let's go.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 1 and verse 1. The revelation of Jesus Christ.
So right there, it says the revelation of Jesus Christ. Do you know what the word revelation means? It means to reveal.
Right.
The revealing of Jesus Christ. So right now we're going to show you and everybody else that's listening what Christ looks like according to the Bible.
Bring it up.
Right? Okay. Jump down to 14.
Verse 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool.
Right. So Christ's head and his hairs, the hairs on his head, so that's talking about his beard, his mustache, his eyebrows, the actual hair on his head, it was white in color and woolly in texture. So now which image over here has white colored hair? Between this image and this one, which one has white hair? Let's look. His hair looks kind of gold. His hair looks kind of reddish. Over here, that's brown. Right, but this one's white. So just off rip, these are all lies.
Right.
You can right from the get-go. Nowhere do any of them have white colored hair. And then guess what? It said white, and then it said, what's it, as wool? Read that.
His hairs were white like wool.
It was white and it was just like wool. Now, what animal produces wool? The sheep, right? Right. Have you seen a sheep's hair? No, you never seen a sheep's hair? Okay. Well, a sheep's hair, it looks like ours. This is what a sheep's hair looks like.
Right.
That's where wool comes from. Like you ever, like with wool? Yeah. Like his hair right here. The same thing. Woolly in texture, but Christ was white in color.
Right.
His hair was white in color, and woolly in texture. It was woolly just like ours, what we call nappy or kinky hair today.
Right.
That's the same texture hair that Christ had.
As white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire.
Now we're moving over to his eyes. It said his eyes were as a flame of fire. What color is fire? Right, it's red. So on these images, can you see any one of them that have red colored eyes? You might have to look a little close. Look. Blue, blue, blue. His looks a little gray. Right over here, his eyes are brownish. Brown and blue. But then you go to the flip side, the true side, his eyes are red. The whites of his eyes are red. Because remember, his first miracle was turning water into wine.
That's right.
So as such, remember, Christ drank much wine. And when you drink wine, the whites of your eyes will typically turn red. Which is the reason why, read that.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 49 and verse 12. His eyes shall be red with wine.
Right, that's prophecy for Christ. That's all the way written in Genesis, that automatically his eyes were going to be red with wine. So from Genesis, God's already telling us that these images don't even exist.
Right.
Now we're going to go to Revelation, the end of the book.
Verse 15. And his feet like unto fine brass.
Then it said, Jackie, that his feet are like fine brass. You know what color brass is? You ever seen like like brass instruments?
You know.
Brass. What color is brass? It's like a goldish brown, right? Right. Like a penny, right? That's brass. The same thing. So it said his feet are the same color as brass. So if your feet are the same are brown, right? Are brass. What color is the rest of your body?
You know.
If your feet are brown, because your feet are brown, right? And it's the same color as the rest of your body, correct?
That's right.
Don't you think it'd be the same thing for Christ? He said his feet are gonna be in color as fine brass. It's gonna be brown. So the rest of his body was what color? Right. The rest of his body was brown. Keep reading.
As if they burned in a furnace.
But then it wasn't just any old regular brown. It wasn't like a light-skinned brown. It said as if it burned in a furnace, so he was dark. He was real dark. See the image right here?
You know.
This is the true image of Christ according to the Bible. We have white colored hair, woolly textured hair as well. Then his skin was as fine brass as if it was burnt in a furnace. So it was brown in color and it was real dark. That's a black man. There's no way you can sit there and believe that after hearing that he looks anything like any of these guys over here. Could you? No, it doesn't make any sense. But think about it. So the problem with, do you think that the image of Christ matters? Well, remember, we just read earlier that we have to obey God, not men, right? So if God put it in the Bible, if he had it so it was written down in the Bible that his son is gonna come with white, woolly textured hair and with his skin as fine brass as if it's burned in a furnace, dark skin, just like black people, right? Just like us black folk. If he put that in the Bible and he intended for that to be there with that description, don't you think it'd be important? Right. So even though you may not think that, anybody that the description of Christ or that the color of Christ matters, it's important, which is why God put that there. Because he knew that one day, Matthew 24 and 4. Yeah, hold that. Matthew 24 4. He understood that one day he was gonna have a race of people, white folk, that were gonna come over to our land, to where we were in Africa, right? And take us and put us into captivity and indoctrinate us, make us believe that they're God. We're gonna lie to us. Read.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 4. And Jesus answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you.
You hear that? You hear what Jesus said? He said, listen up. He said, listen up, Jackie. He said, make sure no one lies to you. And how would you know that somebody's lying to you? Because they're not reading from the Bible.
Right.
So if you go to your church, right? And for how long have you been going to church, Jackie? How long is a long time? Before I left the church, I was going there for 17 years.
Right.
So from my birth, right? And we were taught that Christ looks like a white man, right? Just from what you saw. But then we read that we have to obey God and not man. And what God says is that Christ looks like a black man.
That's right.
So which one should we believe? What do you think we should believe? Should we believe that this is Christ or that this is Christ? Because what? Because where did we find that information? Where did we find that description? We found that in the Bible.
That's right.
That's not something that we could just write there. Keep reading. Yeah.
Verse 5. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ.
So, listen up, Jackie. He said that many people are going to come and say that they're Christ. Didn't these images over here, didn't these men sit here and say that they were Christ?
Bring it out.
Which is why beforehand you thought that this was Christ according to the Bible. That's why growing up I was taught that that's Christ according to the Bible. If you ask pretty much anybody here in Jacksonville, Florida, what Christ looks like according to the Bible, they'll tell you that Christ and God are white men. But not near one of them can prove it. That's deception. That means they're lying to you. They've been lying to us for generations. Ever since they took the chains off our neck in chattel slavery, even during that time. But ever since afterwards, they've still been lying to us and been teaching us that Christ was a white man. Because guess what? If they taught us that Christ looked like them, we wouldn't want to sit there and attack them. Because if we went after the slave master, then ultimately we would have it in our mind and think, well, Christ is white, the slave master is white. If I kill Massa, I'm killing Christ. You see what they're doing? They're playing mind games on us. But you've learned today that Christ doesn't look like that. He looks like a black man according to the Bible. Read this. Wisdom of Solomon.
This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 13 and verse 3.
Bring it up.
With whose beauty, if they being delighted, took them to be gods. Let them know how much better the Lord of them is. For the first author of beauty.
So God is the first author of beauty. Because God created everything, right? So God created everything, read. First author of beauty. For the first author of beauty hath created them. So the first author of beauty created us. God created us. And He created us in His image.
That's right.
Right? That's how we know we're the first people. So if He created us in His image, and in His image He was black, right? Had black skin, right?
Right.
And had woolly textured hair, right? Should we sit there and nowadays, sit there and try to bleach our skin to become lighter?
Bring it up.
No, because if we're bleaching our skin, then that means we're showing that we hate the way that the first author of beauty that God made us to be. And He made us to look like Him. So ultimately, we're saying that God is ugly. That's really what you're saying if you want to lighten your skin, right? And also, it'd be the same thing for your hair. Because what texture was Christ's hair? It was woolly, right? It's just like His. So if our hair naturally is woolly, it's curly, it's nappy, it's kinky, whatever you want to call it, and we straighten our hair or we cut it off and put a weave on it, what does that show that how we think about ourselves?
Bring it out.
Bring it out.
Think about it. We're not problems. Think about it. Because why would you want to, why do you not show off your hair, Jeff? Why do you have on a wig or a wig, whatever it is? Did you ever think about why you did it? See, and that's part of the indoctrination. That's part of the deception. Because ultimately what it is that shows that you and the rest of our people as well, we all fell into it, so it's not just to single you out, but you're here in front of me. that we fell into what Willie Lynch had set up for us. What he had set out. He had a plan. We don't have the book with us, but he had a plan pretty much to indoctrinate us for generations and generations. This way, to this day, we would sit here and want to worship the oppressor.
Right.
To have Stockholm syndrome, where we want to save them. And have hatred toward our own people. Read what you got.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 3 and verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor.
It said, envy thou not the oppressor. So what he's saying in layman's terms is, do not be jealous of the oppressor.
Right.
Do not be jealous of the people who put you in slavery.
Right.
Now, the people who put us in slavery, right, Jackie? What did they look like? Here in America, the people who put us in slavery. What race were they? Are you afraid to say it, Jackie? Ain't around. We in the hood, man. Yeah. Think about it. Okay, were they black? The people that put us in slavery here in America. Black people put us in slavery in America? Okay, so no, it wasn't, right? Were they East Indian that put us in slavery here in America? When you go back to what? You ever seen Django? 12 Years a Slave. Uncle Tom's Cabin. Roots. Okay, good. All right, I seen Roots too. That was the first slave movie I seen.
Right.
All right, so with Roots, what color were the slave masters? What did they look like? Who did they look like? Don't be nervous to say it. You don't know? They were white.
Yeah,
weren't they white? They look just like him, right here.
Right.
And this is pretty much how they dress too. White folk, Italians, Spaniards, the Englishmen, the British. That's exactly what they dress like, and that's exactly how they look. They're white folk, right? In Roots. And just in general in slavery. That put us in captivity, that put us in slavery. Read that part again.
Envy thou not the oppressor.
So listen up, Jackie. He said we're not supposed to envy the oppressor. Now the oppressor, the person who put us into slavery, the white man that put us in slavery, right? What texture is his hair?
Bring it out.
Well, I'll say it like this. What texture is his woman's hair? Him too, but his woman's hair. Yeah, what texture is the white woman's hair? Is it kinky and curly like ours? Let's be real. Is it? You think so? All right, let's look at these images right here. So earlier we read the image of Christ, right? And it said his head and his hairs were white like wool, right? And we know that woolly means nappy, curly, kinky, right? So earlier you said that you don't see that over here, right? So if you don't see that over here, and this is an image of the white man, then what makes you think that the white woman is gonna have hair opposite to that? It's gonna be the same thing, right?
Right.
So white folk, they don't have hair like this. Oh, sorry. They don't have hair like this.
Right.
They don't have hair like us.
Right.
They have hair that's stringy. That's stringy. The hair that you see our sisters put on top of their head. The weaves, the horsehair.
Right.
That's really what it is. You know that's really what it is, right?
Right.
That's really what it is. When you go into the Chinese or the Indian beauty supply stores or whatever, that's what they have. They have the weaves, and they don't ever have weave where they're putting our hair in our head.
Bring it out.
Nobody wants to do that.
Right.
They want to put the other nations' hair. They want to put East Indian hair. They want to put the Persian hair. They want to put the white hair in their head. Right? Read that part again.
Envy thou not the oppressor.
So he said, envy thou not, do not envy. Don't be jealous of the oppressor. So if you're jealous of someone, that means you want what they have, right? So don't you see that jealousy in the black community? You see where a lot of women, especially a lot of women, what they'll do is they won't take the time to grow their hair from their youth up. They'll sit there and just either cut it off or just hide it and put on the little do-rag thing, the stocking cap, whatever the hell you call it,
bonnet.
and the bonnet. No. They put on the do-rag. That's what the stocking cap. They put on the stocking cap, and then on top of that, they put on a weave.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah, that's what.
Ain't that what they do?
Yeah,
They put on a weave. or they straighten their hair. They try to flat iron their hair so it looks more presentable to white America.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? That's being jealous of what the other nations have. God didn't give the other nations woolly textured hair for a reason, because he created us in his image.
That's right.
He's the first author of beauty. He's the beauty standard. You know how you have like Essence magazine? Well, that's black, right? Not black.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't even make a difference. It doesn't even make a difference. Essence magazine, Vogue, all those different magazines, right? Where it talks about the beauty standards of America.
Right.
You rarely ever see where they look like us.
Right.
If they do look like us, then 9 out of 10 they already went to, like, 2 or 3 freaking sessions of of bleaching their skin.
Right.
Right? They already got their nose shrunk down a little bit.
Right.
They already got their hair, what was it, fried, dyed, and laid to the side.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? They already changed it all up to where they're the black version of a white person. That's having envy. That's being jealous of the other nations. But like I said, God didn't make them to look like him for a reason. Because he wanted to distinguish, put many differences between his chosen people and the other nations.
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.
We used to scream black power while Oram was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.